Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Like I say, this is after 6.5 inches of rain or so over 36 hours. The last time this happened, it was about 4 inches of rain in a 4 or 5 hour period, and it blew this out. I redid it, the sort of dam here, or whatever, the weir, in order to make a pool here. You can see how deep it is. Like, I took all the exposed rock from the last cascade down here, and I took those rocks out to make it deeper, and it's done the job. So hey, but that is just beautiful. I'll try to get a little close up here, or I will get a close up. Yeah, wow, that's so pretty. It's only a couple hundred yards behind my house and on nobody's property except a bunch of lawyers who hope I never build on this or donate it. Yeah, donate it. Sure, that'll happen to a conservancy. But anyway, this held up. Water's going over. Didn't bust through it because it was more rain, but over a longer period of time. And then goes down here. It's really cleared a lot of course, time and the season has cleared a lot of the leaves out. I mean, in a month or 6 weeks, there'll be a lot of leaves falling, and again, it will somewhat clog up the whole free flow of these streams and everything to some extent. It won't look as, even with as much water, won't look as much, or as running as much as it is. And that's just the cycle. But right now, when it's pretty much free of debris and leaves, not only because it's running so fast, and it has run, but just because it's been almost a year since leaves have fallen, so a lot of the leaves that fell are disintegrating and becoming a part of the ground again. How profound, huh? But this is just beautiful. And I think that pond's got to be about 2 feet deep now, and that's never been the case. I mean, I tried to dig it out for both Muff and Charlie when my dad had those dogs, and it just didn't work because it was just too much of a hassle to do that out here in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere, but away from the house, and bringing the tools and digging it out. But the creek did it for me, helped me a lot, and then I thought I'd capitalize on that, and I would make it bigger, so you could literally have a bear in here and taking a pretty much full bath. So not that that might happen. I don't know, bears like water. Everybody likes water, especially when it's hot. And the water here is always running. Certainly not to this extent. Sometimes I could fill up a glass in about 30 seconds, but it always has run for 32 years that I'm aware of. And now the pond at the base is much bigger, much deeper. So, and that's never, like I say, as long as it's running, the water never dries out. The intermittent stream, that's a different story, but I also deepened that little pond, little pool of water at the base of it where the path crosses it. So anyway, I'm talking like a crazy man. I'm going to walk over here and see. Boy, oh boy, that's a lot of water. I don't know if I've ever seen it because there's a little break in the rain, and I decided to come out because it's supposed to rain more. But here's the diverted creek, and that sometimes dries up. Most of the time it dries up, but that one's running pretty well too. And then there's just one more. This is like an intermittent creek. It's a diversion of the one up. Something happened, the land collapsed, a boulder fell in the way or something, and this wasn't here 30 years ago. Then there's another one about a half a mile down this path is an intermittent. I'm sure that's running pretty well too. With 6.5 inches of rain in 36 hours. There's no place for it to go but into the ground, down the hills to the lowest point. This creek here flows into Rugby Lake, small lake, private lake, and then Rugby overflows into the French Broad River, not a French Broad. So you can see that it has been raining quite a bit, because if it hadn't been, this pond here would be clear, but the water keeps turning up a little. Although you can see pretty much the bottom. I mean, it's not like I'm really happy with the little wall I built here that it is holding, and it'll only get better because little leaves and sticks will stick in where the water is flowing through it, and then the only water coming past it will be the water going over it. So, all right, I'm going to be on my way back on the trail. I satisfied my curiosity, and like I say, this is not a very long walk. A couple hundred yards to the backyard, I guess. This is an old logging trail. And then the intermittent stream is not on the logging trail like this one is, but it's only about 50-75 feet from the back of my property. So that one is certainly very easy to go see and check out. This one is too, of course, but again, sometimes I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to walk back. But after 6.5 inches, I thought it would be interesting enough, and now I've got it on film, so I can compare it in the future. Who knows, we may get 10 inches in 36 hours one day. It's a type of climate here. The Smokies, or the Appalachians down here, get upwards of 80 inches a year, which is like twice what Chicago gets. So luckily, being surrounded by trees and forests, there's really very little worry about forest fires out here, because it really doesn't ever get into a situation of drought or extremely dry timber. I think the longest they've gone here was about 8 or 9 days without raining, which was a long time, but that was a few months ago. And since then, it's been about maybe 3 days. And then we've had times where it's rained every day for 10, 11, 12 days in a row. So anyway, here's the path down. There's a path. This will take you down to the power lines and across the intermittent stream again. But I'll go this way off the logging path, and this is the path that I maintain. I always did, even when my mom and dad lived here. I blow the leaves off of it, so that's why you see the moss, and then you see the tree branches lining the sides of it. Not completely, because it's hard to keep up with that. Here's a big chanterelle. That's a huge one. I'm going to leave it though. But they're very edible and very good, and I guess they're expensive by the pound. So here we are back to the intermittent creek, and I'm sure this will run even without any more rain, although we're expecting it. It'll rain, or I said it'll flow for days now after this. If we got no rain for 4 days, I'd come here and there'd still be, it wouldn't be running like this, but it certainly would be flowing. Anyway, I'm glad that worked when I rebuilt that. You can see how short of a trip it is then back to the property, because here I'm walking and actually see trees that are already on my property, so I'm within sight. And as I go back, let's see where, oh yeah, right here. Yeah, I mean, it's literally 50, 60 feet to my property. So here's a little path that I made over this old ditch that they built because they were building homes up on the hill. Didn't want stuff to flow down the hill unimpeded. Anyway, here's this is a Pat's property to the left, and well, this marks the end of both of ours as far as south is concerned. And then path goes along here. That's pretty much the border, going east, and then walking down here. Well, that's Pat's house. Our daughter Susan staying there right now. Pat probably will not be back in that house. She's 96 and not doing particularly well. But here's the rest of the property coming down this side at least, and there's Daniel's, the contractor's trailer. And I've marked some of these trees as being taken down, not these that I'm right here, but further down. And here's the house back there. That's her house. Ooh, she's got some branches on her roof. There's going to be some work to do for her after she takes full possession of that house. But anyway, here's the I'll just take this path instead of the one straight down. And you can see how green the moss is here. Right combination of, and I keep the leaves off it because the acid from the leaves, if I were to leave them, would totally destroy. I mean, it would be a leaf path. And here's where Muff is buried. I actually cleaned and wrote her name on her little tombstone here a week or so ago. I always say hi to Muff. And I got the ladder up there because I heard something hit the roof the other day yesterday, and I went there to look up. It's too slippery to go up there I did, but I had to come back down on my butt because it was too slippery to really stand up on it. It was wet. There was a brief period of time where it wasn't raining yesterday. Here's the unfinished deck. It will be finished. It will have cables, stainless steel cables, and solar post caps. Backyard looks pretty green. I'm trying to grow grass. There's some grass in there that I don't want, but there's a lot of grass that I've planted that is taking. Here's the ski canal, and as you can see, the sun is popping out, and probably not for long, and it's not raining, but this is certainly still flowing. So you can see I had rod this out too because there was a root that was pushing up on it, wasn't allowing a lot of the water to flow. Now it flows freely, takes care of all the water coming down the hill, and diverts it either this direction or, as I call it, at the Continental Divide over there, the other direction. Actually, I'll walk the other direction. I want to take a look at my little canals that I built for the gutter downspouts. They used to go underground, but that was not a system that was working well, and I rebuilt them. So here's some of the grass that's growing that I wanted to grow before it was too shady here. So here's my one canal, dry because it hasn't been raining for a while, maybe an hour or so. And then the water comes down here. I have to kind of re-landscape this a little bit, more grass, of course. Comes into this canal, flows into here. A little bit of a under the root depression there where the water stays, but it gets high enough it flows out. So here's my new front yard, which I've got to work on a lot, but I redid the window well, and the one on the other side of the house too. Everything's looking very well, very good. Looks like something came down here, not very big, maybe maybe most of it's on the roof, who's to say. But anyway, here's the got rid of a lot of the branches over here because they'll just disintegrate, fade away, and that's what's nice about having this kind of property. You don't have to worry about disposing of your organic material. So I think I'll walk down to the another little pretty flower in there, pink flower. I think I'll walk down to the mailbox and see some more pretty flowers, and see if I threw birdseed out here because they have seed in there that germinates very well with grass, and that's the path that a couple of machinery or big machinery, one with wheels, one with tracks, I guess. They have both for the septic and the retaining wall. So anyway, kind of made a path, and I'm trying to eliminate that look. So here's my hostas and coral bells, amongst other little things, and growing in there. There's the other one. Here's the front of the property. I will, there's the house from the street. May not be anything in here. Oh, there is, but it's probably advertisements. Yes, it is advertisements. Oh, lucky me. Oh, that's the front of the property and driveway. And look at the sun's out. I can't believe it. Unbelievable. It's supposed to rain more though, all the way through tonight, and then there's a 60% chance even tomorrow. So it's pleasant out though. It's just a little humidity, but it's in the low 70s and very pleasant. So, all right, I guess I'll stop blabbering. Some of the trees here that I'm going to have taken down soon. That's about it. All right. end of Labor Day. I shouldn't say end of Labor Day, but it is Labor Day 2022.